We're here again in Clearwater Beach, Florida to give you inspiration on what's possible as a real estate investor. We're here at Collective Genius, which is a gathering of the nation's biggest real estate investors. You have to be doing over 50 deals per year to be a member of this premier group. Today we're with Andrew Newlon, who's been in the business since 2013, had a partner over 10 years, and gives you the 3 things you need to evaluate before selecting a lasting partnership. Well, so Andrew, we're here before the Collective Genius meeting. What do you look forward to these meetings the most, would you say?
Each time it's something a little different. I really look for 1 or 2 key takeaways, and usually when I show up, I know what those are. You know, I kind of pregame and say, hey, this quarter, the thing that will make the biggest difference in my business is X, Y, Z, and then relationships. I mean, CG really, more than anything, has given me relationships over the years, connections, vendors, you know, different people that we do business with. And so I keep an open mind, but usually it's 1 or 2 key nuggets I'm looking for that I need the most in my business. Got it.
What are you looking for this time?
Project management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that a pain for you right now? What's going on?
So over the years, we have rental properties, we fix and flip, and we wholesale. And the ratio of what we do each year changes. In the last 2 years, I pushed really hard in wholesale. It's very process-oriented with the changing rates in the market. I feel like it's a safer thing to do. Well, if you start doing more wholesale, you cut down your revenue. If you don't cut down your expenses, then your net profit significantly decreases. And so I'm trying to churn that back around and do more flipping this upcoming year. And the one thing I've never been really good at is project management.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And then when you flip, you have to do project management because you have to have all these things happen in a certain line, right? Like demolition.
Yeah.
You do the floors before or after you paint. You know, there's like an order of things you want to do, right?
Yeah. You got cash flow is a big ordeal. You know, you got to make sure you're borrowing enough money to cover the rehab. Make sure you're staying on track to hit your budget. Make sure you have the working capital each month or each week to pay the utilities and the insurance. A lot of moving parts, and when we flip right now, we're flipping 4 or 5 houses at a time, and we're looking to at least double that. In 2020 and 2021, we're flipping quite a bit at any given moment. But the market was so good, you have to worry about the management side of it. Like, you can make a lot of mistakes and still make money.
The market was so good, like the value of the house was going up as you were working on it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And now that's not the case.
No, absolutely not. You really have to be dialed in what you're doing to be profitable.
Okay. And then you said you were wholesaling. But you're not anymore? You're doing more
We're definitely still wholesaling.
Okay.
I mean, that's my bread and butter. I got started rehabbing a couple of houses, and I flipped a couple of houses, and we figured out wholesaling. Wholesaling was what allowed me to quit my job, because it was that monthly income that I can live off of, and everything else was real estate strategy.
Got it.
And over the years, we'd flip a lot, and then we'd turn around and wholesale a lot. It's like in 2020 and 2021, when the market was really great, we flipped everything. And when rates started going up in 2023, I said, hey, we're going to start wholesaling again just to mitigate risk. I didn't want to be caught with 20, 30 houses going on at once, and the market changed and can't pay the bills. And so pulled back and started wholesaling everything. Well, the market has kind of stabilized. The biggest thing is we were able to, when we switched over to wholesaling, we cut down our revenue, but we didn't cut down our expenses. We weren't able to cut down our expenses in 1-to-1 ratios. So our net profit suffered quite a bit. So we had to ease back into flipping more.
Got it. Okay. So you did wholesaling. Your net profit suffered because you don't make as much on a wholesale deal as you do a flip, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so were all of your expenses things like direct mail marketing and staff?
Yeah.
Is that what okay.
Yeah, the 2 biggest parts of our market or our expenses is payroll and marketing. It take about 70% of our expenses out of that.
Who's all on payroll? What's the team look like right now?
I've got a lady that's been with me for 5 years. She runs all the operations. We have a transaction coordinator, 2 lead managers. They answer phone calls, set appointments for our sales team. We're in 2 different markets, so we have acquisition reps in each market, then we have a disposition rep, and then we have my assistant, and then a project manager.
Okay. Well, it's a pretty good sized team.
Yeah, I mean, we've over the years we've grown it bigger than that. We've had it smaller than that, and really where we're at now, about 12 people or so, is for me the perfect spot.
Okay, got it. Yeah. When did you start out?
2013.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously it was just you.
Well, I had a former partner, so me and my friend, we started this. We up to that point, his dad ran a remodeling business, and so they remodeled houses for other investors. And then we all grew up in the same church, and so there's 3 different guys in the church that had investment properties, And my former partner and I, we'd be working on the houses, learning how to do some drywall, some plumbing, some electrical, flooring, just about everything. But they kept telling us, if we knew at your age what we know now, we would have started a lot earlier. So we're like, well, let's do this.
We'll start earlier.
Yeah. So we just kind of ripped the Band-Aid off and went out and bought a couple of rental properties. It worked very well. And then just progressed like, well, let's start flipping the houses, and then let's quit our jobs and wholesale and flip. And it just kind of grew from there.
So you did rentals, but you couldn't buy more rentals because you probably ran out of money to buy rentals, right?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
We bought 4 rentals out of the gate, and over a course of a year. Right, we did all the work ourselves. We bought the rentals, we did all the work, put all the bills on the credit card, and then we refinanced all our money back. Net zero. We didn't take more money out than we needed just to pay off what it cost us. But we realized that's going to take a long time to do, and we started marketing for off-market properties, and then you put out the bandit signs or send out some letters. And I wasn't able to answer phone calls because I was an electrician at the time, so I was working during the day. And we realized, like, if we want to take this seriously, we have to do this full time. And so we figured out what wholesaling was. Like, this is it. And we fired our bosses, like, kind of burnt the ships and dove straight in and made it work.
You've got no other option but to make it work when you do that.
Yeah. It was we make money or we go back to our jobs.
So that means you've been doing this 11 years.
Yeah.
Was there an issue being an electrician in terms of you didn't like your boss, or you didn't feel like you were earning enough, or you didn't feel like you had enough flexibility? Any of those types of things?
No. The electrician I worked for was a great guy, and respect. I just knew what I wanted in life, and I didn't want to work all my life working for someone else. And I did that job during college too, so it's just kind of like, it was kind of a part-time job, and then when I graduated college, I kind of rolled a full-time job, and it didn't last very long. I mean, it was never what I sought out to be. It was actually my former partner's brother-in-law, and so he just said, hey, one day, can you help me with this job? And I'm like, sure. And it just kind of rolled into a few years went by, and like, I still have my own goals I want to pursue, and I want to run my own business, and it was just a temporary thing from the get-go.
Got it. So I was thankful that the guy at your church actually told you about real estate investing, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first job he asked me to come over and replace a chain link fence on his house. He just needed labor, some kid to come over and help him install it. And then he told me about the rental property. And just over the years, being exposed to that. Had that not be, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I wouldn't be in real estate.
So now, did he have the remodeling company that helped investors redo their homes, or was he an actual real estate investor himself?
The
buddy at church.
Yeah. Well, my former partner, his dad had a remodeling business.
Got it. That was the connection.
Yeah, they remodel houses for anyone and everyone.
Got it.
Just happened to be one of their clients was these investors from church as well.
Okay, got it.
And so there's a community that either some of the people I knew were either remodeling houses, or some people owned rental properties or flip properties. And I came from a family that had nothing to do with real estate. So I was just exposed to that in my teenage and young adult life. And so that sparked the passion and just kind of ignited that path.
And what would you say the first 3 years looked like? Like maybe you did a few deals the first year. How many do you remember?
So the very first year, in 2013, we bought 2 properties. Bought them as
those were rentals.
2 rentals. We bought them as a lease option or a rent zone from a landlord. We went in there, remodeled them. I mean, we worked every single night, every single weekend. I mean, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. The temperature was -5 degrees out. We're working all winter long, remodeling these, took them to the bank, refinanced them, and turned around and bought 2 more properties at once, remodeled both of those. And so that took the course probably about a year and a half. First year and a half was that. Every weekend, every free night.
A rent to own, though, you were able to refinance it quickly after you rehabbed it, right?
I went to 13 banks. The 13th bank gave to refinance a property, right, to get all your money back, you have to own that property. And when you rent own, so if I'm renting,
you don't own it yet.
I don't own it yet. Yeah, I'm just paying you rent every month, and you give me the option to buy it. So the banks kind of look down on that, like I can't refinance it. So that's not a bad thing. What that means, I would have had to brought my down payment to the table, which we didn't have at the time. So the 13th bank was willing to give us a shot, and they said we'll cover it because we had equity in it anyways.
Yeah. So like when you put the new drywall, new paint, new floors into the house, you created value.
Through the labor, yeah.
Yeah, you created the value through the labor, and then just assembling those in general.
Yeah.
And so you had the equity, that's why you didn't need a down payment.
Right.
And then the moment that they did that, what did you pay off the landlord who had a contract that said you could just pay this off for
So
a
I
certain
think
amount?
at the time, if I remember correctly, we bought 2 houses for $35,000. which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it just couldn't now. We bought 2 houses, 35,000. One was already rented out. The other one needed a full remodel. We went in there, we pulled off walls and in the bathroom, and they had like 4 or 5 layers of wall. It's just different drywall.
Because somebody had remodeled it 4 times, put new wall type of materials on there.
Covered the crap, and it's just layering. Once we got down to the studs, it was termite ridden. And
Oh, no.
we had to do all the termites, and then it was on a cinder block foundation. We had to redo a corner of it. I mean, we really put a lot of work into it, and so we owed them $35,000, and I don't know the exact amount, but like materials only say it was like $15,000, and all labor is free because we did it. And so at the end of it, I had to come up with $50,000. So we went to the bank. The bank said, we will lend you $35,000 so you can pay off the investor who owns these properties, and we'll give you a line of credit for $15,000, which we immediately pulled out to pay off our credit card.
Got it.
And then at the end of time, we had 2 loans, one for $35,000, which was the primary mortgage, and then a line of credit that we paid down over time.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Have you continued working with that bank?
Yeah, actually, we still do business with them. Yeah.
I'm guessing it was a small local bank, not a chain,
Small
right?
credit
So they're
union.
typically the ones that have flexibility to do that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, still do business with them. They still have several of our notes.
So at first I thought you were doing long-term rentals, but then I realized you immediately added that value, refinance it. So you're kind of doing like a BRRRR strategy.
It was a BRRRR. Yeah. Kind of a weird BRRRR. It was.
Awesome. And then that was year 1. What happened in year 2?
Year 2, we did the same thing with 2 more properties. This time we bought them up front. So I had.
Did you get a loan from that bank to make the purchase?
Yeah, I think it was the same bank. We bought it off the MLS, 2 properties on same, or 2 houses on one property that both needed a lot of work. They're both vacant, and we went to the bank, got a loan. I fronted the down payment at that time, and then once again used our business credit cards. We did all the work, paid the material on the credit cards, and then we got done, refinanced them. At that time, we pulled out additional money. I want to say $10,000, and 5 for me, 5 for my partner. I said, how long can we live off of these $5,000? Which, once again, sounds ridiculous, but we came up with back in the day, it was like 3 or 4 months, and that's what allowed us to quit our jobs.
Got it.
Yeah, just having a little cash in the pocket. Like, all right, we quit our jobs. We have $5,000. It's not going to last us forever. It'll force us to go out there and get a deal done.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. What happened next?
We wholesaled a house for $3,500.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just didn't stop after that.
Where did you find that house?
We used to do bandit signs, so the yellow signs.
Yep.
We buy houses. They were practical back in the day, and then where I'm at, the city ordinance, doesn't allow it. And so we got away with it.
Was that
for a while.
because you did so many? They
No.
made a new city ordinance?
No, the city ordinance was there before.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those things like it's there, but everyone puts out signs. Your realtors, your auctioneers, the city puts out signs looking for bus drivers. I mean, it's just everyone does it. But I think they kind of got tired of it and put a heat on us, and we stopped then. But that's how we got that deal. It was put out a little bandit sign, and then we went from there and started doing direct mail.
Got it. So do you still do direct mail today?
Direct mail is our key bread and butter.
Got it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of houses in Springfield, Missouri. How do you decide which ones you want to send the mail to?
We use a couple of different data sets. Primarily absentee owners, people who own a house that they don't live at is usually our best, best one. So we use that. We use some predictive modeling. So data sets are looking for people that will be in a position where they would benefit from selling to a cash offer. They don't want to or can't go through a traditional realtor method or process. High equity, long ownership, foreclosures, evictions. We're looking for a reason. It's either the property or the person, but we're looking for a reason why someone would benefit from a quick, easy, convenient, guaranteed sell.
So that's really interesting. Just even absentee owner works very well for you.
Yeah. I mean, usually it's someone that's owned a property. It's a property they don't want. It's inherited. And it's just a second property. It's a property they had and they moved. And we see this a lot. They moved and they rented it out either to family or friends. And that didn't work out. And they're living in California. They got to come back and they don't want to do all the work or repairs. It works well. It doesn't work so well for professional landlords. So those absentee owners, they know what they're doing. But the ones that are accidental landlords, they're usually in a position where we can work together.
Yeah, because I'm an absentee owner, but I don't want to sell any of my properties. But how do you find the accidental landlords? They probably just own like 1 or 2, right? They probably don't own 19 or something like that.
Yeah, you could, when you're choosing who, the number of houses they own, so 1, 2,
it's
3.
a filter, right, that you can filter down.
And then another one would be LLC. So someone that owns it in an LLC or a trust,
They're probably not an accidental landlord, is what you're saying.
They're savvy. They know what they're doing. They have intentions behind it. But if David owns 3 houses in his personal name, then probably not a professional landlord, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you're probably in a position where you may be fed up.
It's more likely that they are accidental. They inherited the property or whatever. They decided to move and try renting one house, right? But
Exactly.
yeah, less intention behind it. That's a good way of saying it.
Yep.
Cool. So how many deals did you do in year 2? I know you did the 2 more rentals, and then you did a $3,500 wholesale.
Yeah, I think
and you successfully quit your job.
Yeah, I think we did about 2 rentals and 2 wholesales in year 2.
How did that feel?
Felt great. I mean, at that time, I wasn't married yet. I think we were engaged, had no kids. I was young, just out of college. So it wasn't a lot of fear. You know, if I did that today, I got 2 young kids. And, I've been with my wife for 10 years, stuff. I have a lot on line now, but it was exciting to be in control of my own destiny.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Dang, that's exciting.
And it was
I remember
fun
that
because
too.
you're learning all this stuff. It's all new.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's new.
For me, real quick, when I quit, my employer decided, they're like, oh no, we don't want you to quit. We'll pay you 4 times as much to stay 4 more months.
Oh, geez.
And so I had to take that, of course.
Yeah.
But there was no fear at all. But it did take longer than I expected, about 1.5 years before I earned enough from my business to like pay myself
Yeah.
a $50,000 a year salary.
Yeah.
So that was something I remembered. It's like I overestimated I underestimated how long it would take to replace my income, but I wasn't scared because I was so excited about what I was working on.
I think that's how it works. Pen and paper. You're like, okay, this is my salary now. If I do X amount of deals, it'll take me this long. I'll be in a great position. But all these hiccups and speed bumps along the way kind of prevent that. I mean, I'm saying, but I paid myself, I think, $1,800 a month for probably the first 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if I think I spend that on
I was
food
just
nowadays.
draining savings. Yeah, I was just not even paying myself, but just
Yeah.
draining savings for about 1.5 years.
Just trying to starve it off as long as possible, and then it clicks, and then it takes off.
So what happened in year 3?
Year 3, so we really got in a good rhythm. I don't know the numbers top of my head, but we probably did 20, 25 deals. I mean, at that point, we started spending money on marketing. We put in direct mail, increased the bayonet signs quite a bit. We kind of got in a rhythm. We would buy one to wholesale and buy one to flip, and then buy one for rental. So it was just kind of like the wholesale gave us that short-term, quick money in our pocket. The flips obviously gave us more profit long-term. But the end goal was always to have a good rental property. So you can't live off rental properties. So you had to flip to keep a rental.
Correct. Yeah, you need the money to actually live off of. But what have those rental properties done now? Do you still have them?
We sold off quite a bit last year or 2. That partner and I, we went separate ways.
Okay.
Good things, different directions in life and stuff, relocation, things like that. But it did put us in a position we felt it was best just to sell all those properties. So
Got it.
But I had no idea what those would have sold for 10 years ago. So the equity, especially in 2020, 2021, checking the balance sheet and net worth and stuff man, it's hard to buy a house when you only make $200-$300 a month if everything goes well. But the equity is pretty substantial once you start adding them up.
Yeah. What did you do with all the cash once you sold all the properties?
I was able to structure it to where we sold most of them. I kept a couple nightly rentals that produced really good cash flow, and then we sold everything else and then gave him most of the cash. So cash is still sitting there. I've never touched a dollar from my rental property.
Meaning, what did you keep out of that then? The business, like the wholesaling business?
Yeah. So we have multiple LLCs. So I bottomed out the wholesaling and flipping business a couple years ago. And then we maintained our rental portfolio for quite a while, and that's its own LLC. And then it came to the point where like, hey, we probably should just separate this. And so we sold everything until it got to a point where I was able to say, hey, here's your equity of it. I'll keep the remaining properties and what cash is left. And I just leave the cash there because you got to cover for incidentals and things to come up.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Well, it took you guys 10 years or so before you realized, we should go separate ways. I mean, that's a long time. That's great.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best success stories partners wise. Because I find like a lot of people get into partnerships, but it's almost more serious than a marriage, You can kind of split up your assets, but sometimes, the other one doesn't have enough cash to like buy the other one out if there's a business, right, with a lot of value in it. So that's pretty cool. You guys had a long and successful partnership like that. I've always been proud of my partnership in DealMachine. We've been going 8 years.
Okay.
And so
probably not without incidents.
But I just see a lot of people come to me. They're like, hey, me and my partner split up. Can we open up a new DealMachine account, or can we split this up, or can I get access to this? So I just kind of have that perspective to know a lot of partnerships don't last a long time. So
We've been in CG for 6 years. I've seen it, left and right. I've been a part of other partnerships that, some have still worked, some haven't.
Do you have any advice on partnerships then, if you've had several experiences like that?
I think there's two sets of advice that right off the top of my head I can give. One I'll take from Gary Harper. He's always told us like a partnership has to have three things completely aligned. You have to have the same purpose. Like, why are we doing this? Whether it's financial freedom or nonprofit or to build a big team or like what's driving your why. You have to have the same goals, right? Do you want to flip 200 houses a year, or do you just want 20 free and clear properties? Which really was kind of the part between my former partner and I. Was like, I want to grow something big, and he wanted a very simple lifestyle. Neither one's wrong, but you can't cohabit those in the same office space, right?
It becomes and causes tension.
Exactly, and then you have to have the same core values. That's a non-negotiable. If you don't have the same core values, you guys can't make the same decision on a daily basis. So that's Gary's take on it. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. The other thing I suggest to partners, and this is a hard one, is go ahead and expect it to be temporary. Because to go into a partnership is because you're benefiting from someone else's value to bring to the table. And I think there's only about three values you get out of partnership. It's either experience, labor, or finances. And over time, as your business grows, you no longer need all three of those from an individual. Like that business will either get you the experience, will get you the finances, or you hire out the time.
Yep.
And so the value that someone may bring to the table, and there's nothing wrong with that, will eventually
and then if one person works more than the other, resentment can build up.
Yeah.
Or if one person or both of you want to be in charge and want two different things, that can cause tension.
This is very tricky. So if you just know from the very get-go there's nothing wrong with doing this, that assume it's going to be temporary, then you're set up for success. It's not that you shouldn't do it. Just say, hey, Dave, we're going to be partners. Like, let's just know 5-10 years, there's probably going to be a time we're going to look at each other. That was a good ride. It's done. If you can have that conversation and know exactly what that split up would look like, then you're good to go. If you're not willing to have that conversation, then you're setting yourself up for disaster.
No, that's great. I think a lot of people become partners with other people who are starting out, and they actually, neither one of them knows what they're doing, and neither one of them has money. So if they do strike success, it's one of those situations where, well, now they don't need each other because they have different goals, or they don't need the money, the experience, or what was the third thing that you said?
Let's see, money, experience, or just simple labor, time, right? Just having that second person that's going to benefit from the profit, but you don't have to pay payroll or somebody who's willing to jump in all day long, work on the house or something. Experience, finance, and time.
Where's your business at now? How many deals are you doing? What is the breakdown of those types of deals?
Yep, we do 160, 170 deals a year for the last 3 years. We're in Springfield, Missouri, and Lubbock, Texas. In Texas, we mostly wholesale. In Springfield, it ebb and flows. Some years we do more flipping than wholesaling. This last year is more wholesaling. Going into this year, I'd like to do more of a balanced level.
If the market's rocketing up, you're going to do flips, right? Because you get the benefit of the market increasing the property while you're working on it.
Yeah, there's a lot to that, and I don't think anyone can really accurately, kind of guess what's going to happen in the market. I feel comfortable where it's at, or at least know what my risk tolerance is. More importantly, though, is like when you wholesale a house, whoever buys it from you has to make money. That's why they're buying it from you. So you're leaving profit on the table. Once again, nothing wrong with that, but what you're now doing is lowering your revenue. Well, if you can't lower your expenses as the same, because you still have to spend money to find deals, then you're putting yourself in a bad spot. So the easiest way to make more money without spending more money is to figure out how to make money per deal, which is flipping instead of wholesaling.
Got it.
So we'll go into the year flipping more than we have this past year.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Well, that's going to be a great year then.
Yes.
Why Lubbock, Texas? I didn't realize you were in that second market.
Yep. So my partner, Sydney, I met her parents at another mastermind I was in long before CG. And there was an event, like I think her dad couldn't show up, so her mom brought her, and I was doing a lot of wholesale at the time. She wanted to start to wholesale. Her family comes from real estate. They do multifamily, and they build and do different things, but they don't wholesale. And that's what she wanted. She was just out of college. She's like, hey, I want to start wholesaling. And so I told her how we were doing things and showed her and stuff. And then a quarter or two went by, and we stayed in touch, and I realized like she was very aggressive. She was a go-getter. She would take action. She would do things. and I had experience and I wanted to go into a new market. So I just threw it out there. Hey, you want to partner up on some deals? That's all it was. It's just a partner on some deals. Now it's 2017.
And she lives in Lubbock. That makes sense.
Yep.
Got it.
And that's 2017. And over the time, we started becoming successful. So we're like, let's just treat this as one organization, just one company, just two different markets.
So you provided some wholesale experience, right?
Yep.
Now, how is that partnership going to evolve, you think? Because eventually she'll have the experience. Or she probably does already.
Yeah, no, she definitely has the experience. She's very good.
Yeah.
And she's sitting here, she'd agree, or I'd agree, or tell her as well. There's nothing stopping her from doing this on her own. It's a very symbiotic relationship. We run all the operations in Springfield. So our lead managers, our transaction, our finance, our marketing, everything's out of Springfield. So she would have to go build the structure. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is she brings to the table the market expertise.
Right.
I don't have to figure out what the ARVs are, or what street's a good street, what street's a bad street, or the banking relationships. But she doesn't have to worry about the operations. Her and the sales team down there get the leads, they close the leads, and we handle everything else. So it's pretty symbiotic. Now, once again, like I said earlier, it could be temporary. Right now, it works very well. But as long as we have the same purpose, we definitely have the same goals, and we have the same core values, so it works.
Got it. Well, I think this is a good place to wrap up. Will she be here at Collective Genius, by the way?
Not this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'd love to meet her. I don't think I've met her before.
Yeah, I'll make sure that introduction happens. She's normally here. I think her family's going out of country next week for family vacation, so it's kind of hard to be gone for back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, well, appreciate hearing how you were able to go from an electrician to starting a whole brand new business, and then shifting strategies between wholesaling and flipping depending on how stable you feel the market is, or if it's going to go up. And it's hard to predict, but you can see what's going on right in front of you. So that was pretty cool for me, my favorite thing that you mentioned.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
What's your social media that people could follow you?
Just my name. So on Facebook, Andrew Newlon, Newlon, or Instagram, I think it's Newlon_Andrew.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.